Welcome to my review of Trigun. Now I'm going to be trying a new reviewing style, so come with me on this journey. This will be my new reviewing style. It takes more editing, but I like it a lot better. Now let's get on with the review. Trigun is a 1998 anime made by Madhouse. It is based off the manga of the same name, which ran in Shonen Captain. The show follows a ruthless outlaw with a $60 billion double-dollar bounty on his head, and through his adventures, we learn of how humanity became trapped on a barren wasteland of a planet. This show is a very wild western influence, and is further emphasized with the bounty hunters and overall look of the show. Many people have rightly compared the show to other shows that are similar to this, like Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star, which all have a very wild western theme. Yes, they may all have different stories and characters, but they all have the same Wild West feel to them. Granted, I did not like Bebop, yes I know, shocking, and I haven't seen much of Outlaw Stars, but similarities are extremely visible to anyone who has seen any of the shows. That is why me and many other people like to call these shows the Space Western Trilogy, or Trio, or 3, whatever different word for 3 you want to use. Now this show can go back and forth between very wacky and funny and very serious. This is especially true in the middle, where the show seems to take a complete 180 and suddenly go from a very fun and funny show to a dark and gritty story about the morals of the main character and if killing is ever justified in the same way Batman would go about it. Now on to animation. The animation for the show is really quite bad, even by 1998 standards. I mean, considering Bebop, a show that I just compared the show to, was airing at the exact same time as this show, yet looks so much better, it's just not very impressive. Yes, I know Bebop is an unfair comparison, considering that even by today's standards, it is very well animated. But shows that were made before, like in 1996, Neon Genesis Evangelion, a show that actually ran out of money, looks better than this. Yes, I have seen much worse, but still, it is pretty bad, and it really does show the age of the show. Now, even saying that, the action scenes still look really, really good. Now, the voice acting for the show is interesting, because both the English and Japanese voice acting is actually really good, but they both have their pros and cons. For example, the dub had some pretty bad extras that were in the show, but Johnny Young Bosch really did capture Vash's character in a way that Masaya Onozaka just couldn't. Now, I'm not saying Mr. Onozaka's performance was bad. He was, in fact, really good, but I just felt Johnny Young Bosch could go back and forth between the silliness of Vash and the serious side of Vash much better. This really is one of those shows you should just go with your personal preference with. If you like your shows in Japanese, watch the Japanese version. If you like your shows in English, watch the English version. You will not be disappointed by either, but at the same time you will not be blown away by either. Now on to the music. The music of the show is really not that great. Yes, it has its moments, and the opening and ending songs are good, but often you won't even notice the music in the show. It is not bad, it just isn't that great. The characters are probably the best part of the show. You have Vash the Outlaw, who doesn't believe in killing people, and is hinted to having a secret past. You have Nicholas D. Wolfwood, traveling priest, who is probably one of the most unpriest-like people you will ever meet, who along with Vash makes up one of the most badass duels in all of anime. You also have Meryl and Millie, two women who work for Bernard Deli Insurance Society and are tasked to find and follow Vash the Stampede to stop him from costing their company any more money. Meryl is very borderline tsundere towards Vash, and it creates some very entertaining dialogue. Millie, on the other hand, is kind of an airhead. She can act very childish at times, but when needed, she can be serious and react to the situation. Altogether, these characters really work well together to make a very entertaining group to watch, and it will never be boring. This show, despite its problems, is still a very fun action show, but if you happen to not like older animation, then this show will definitely not be for you. Although, if you like the Wild West action anime and don't mind the old art style, you will likely enjoy this anime. Now time for the final score. For story, I will give Trigun an 8 out of 10 for telling a good story that really does only get better as it goes on. For animation, I will unfortunately have to give Trigun a 5 out of 10 because of how badly it has aged over the years. For sound, I will give Trigun a 7 out of 10 for having some really good voice acting in both versions, but at the same time, both having some problems, and the music being fairly forgettable. The characters get a solid 8.5 out of 10 for being the best part of the show and all around fun. And finally, I give the show a 7.5 for enjoyment, for an overall rating of 7.2 out of 10. Trigun has been licensed in North America by Funimation and is available on their website, Funimation.com, for legal stream. At the time of this recording, Trigun is also available for legal streaming on Netflix, if you prefer to use that. If you enjoyed Trigun and are wanting something else to watch, I have 3 shows to recommend you. The first is the sequel movie, Trigun Badlands Rumble. The second is Cowboy Bebop, and the third is Outlaw Stars. All of them should do you nicely. Now, to everyone watching this, thank you, and I hope you will tune in next time for another one of my reviews.